everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Why I Love Flagler County, your local podcast spotlighting local businesses and local residents on what they love about Flagler County. Now, our guest today is currently not physically in Flagler County. She's actually somewhere pretty exciting. So I'll let her explain a little bit on where she is. But here's our guest today, Deanna. So thank you so much, Deanna, for coming on, especially given your background and where you are. I'm so appreciative that you took the time still.
Thank you so much. My name is Deanna Cisson, and yes, I live in Flagler County in Palm Coast, and I'm actually at Coco Cay, Perfect Day at Coco Cay in the Bahamas, which is Royal Caribbean's premier out island that is just off the charts. And you mentioned you'd maybe like for me to tell people how I moved to Flagler.
I would love that. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So my husband and I were water babies, and when we moved to Flagler, we actually have 3 boats, and we moved to the C section in Palm Coast. It is so beautiful, and we particularly love the area because it's not super overpopulated as compared to most other areas in Florida, in my opinion. And it kind of has that small hometown feel where everybody kind of knows everybody, but yet it's just really beautiful. And I think that too, compared to like South Florida, where there's lots of congestion and traffic, the home prices are out the roof. We still feel like our area is kind of a hidden gem.
Mm-hmm.
And so we love it because we put our boat in the backyard and we can go to easily to St. Augustine, we can go to Daytona, and we just absolutely love it.
Yeah, I was just at St. Augustine last night with my dad. We saw the lights again because, it's so close. You
Aww,
might as well. It's a great time to
yeah.
spend just the weekend night or the weekday night, whichever one you prefer. Absolutely
Yeah.
gorgeous. Well, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your business. What inspired you to become so? Are you specifically for cruises or are you more travel agent? Like what? I'd love for you to talk a little bit
For
about that.
sure, for sure. So I'm very unique. I'm actually a very diverse entrepreneur, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I've been in the cruise industry for 32 years, and I absolutely love it. I forget that it's actually, really kind of a job, but I just want to share with people my experience. I'm super honest. Sometimes I talk people out of trips. I know that sounds really weird, or cruises. It's a long story, but I have been doing it for many, many, many years. I've been on over 90 cruises. And about 10 years ago, I jumped back into it and I started a travel club. And it's
Oh.
called my main travel club, although I do many different areas. But I specialize in groups. However, I do individual cruises as well. I pretty much have sailed on almost every cruise line, so I'm extremely knowledgeable
Mm-hmm.
and I absolutely love what I do. One of the really cool things of many that I love is I can actually book guests into a group rate. And most people don't know that. So, for instance, I'm on Royal Caribbean on the brand new Icon of the Seas. And the inaugural sailing for the largest ship in the world is actually this Saturday. But I'm on it, invited with the press and their VIP guests for this couple of days. But anyway, so getting back to, so if you contact me, I can actually look into the system. Now, not a lot of people have access to this, but I can actually book on select dates on any of their ships, a group, book you into a group. You don't have to hang out with the people or anything, but it allows you to always have a refundable deposit, just in case, things happen, right? And you get a much lower rate. So it's definitely, I'm like your little travel advisor buddy. So when people call direct, they're nice and sometimes they read from a script. They're not as knowledgeable. You
Mm-hmm.
can call me at 8 o'clock at night, and if I'm available, I pick up my phone and I work with you as a buddy and guide you every step of the way.
That's awesome. And I'm glad that you brought up
Yeah.
that there have been times when you've had to talk people out of certain trips because I'm sure you know as your knowledge has grown over the years, there are just some trips that fit families better than others. And I'm glad that, you're honest about that. You're like, hey, I respect you as a person, I respect you as a client. I don't think this you'll have the most enjoyment out of this trip. Maybe we can do something else or we can look at the other options. And I think that's really what's the word? Integral. I think to a good entrepreneur is having that honesty, like, hey, this might not be the best one for you. Maybe I can help you find someone better or find something else better.
Yes, exactly. So yes, I am a cruise expert for 32 years, and sometimes I will talk people out of a cruise. Doesn't happen a lot, but
Right.
again, I do this for the pure passion and love. I don't necessarily do it for the income.
Mm-hmm.
And just so guests know, there's no fee for using an experienced travel advisor. It's
Mm.
just to your benefit. So,
Right.
like Royal Caribbean and some of the other cruise lines, they love when guests work with a travel partner. So it's if anything, we can add additional onboard credit for you. We can get you additional perks. We really have your back. And most importantly, if there's a problem, and that does happen from time to
Mm.
time, where guests will call me. So if you work with an experienced travel advisor like myself for over 32 years, if there's a problem, we will advocate for you. We will move it up the chain to management or whatnot to perhaps make exceptions, which they
Right.
do. And if they book on their own directly, I don't think guests understand that they're calling into a call center where everything is scripted and they don't have the power to go up the chain to help somebody if there's circumstances. And it does happen frequently.
Yeah. Like for example, and it's not necessarily the same, but my family and I had gone on a trip to India and we had used our travel agent to book the flights. Well, we ended up coming back the day before COVID lockdown. And
I guess
because it was that we were flying internationally, a lot of the airlines were a lot of different people were telling us different things on if we could fly back to the States or not. But thankfully, because we had our travel agent, she was still in America. She could make all the calls, she could do all the double checking. She could say, okay, you can come back to the States as long as you clear this, you're good. Come on back. And it would have been so much worse had she not, been in the States, been able to help us, been stationary for us.
that's really see, so you know firsthand. That's
I do.
definitely
Yeah.
oh my goodness, I cannot believe that you were in that situation that's, right before COVID. That is just
We
wow.
everything
Oh,
in my state, we all everything shut down on Monday. We landed Sunday morning. So
wow.
it was talk about, cutting it close. But they're like not saying that's going to happen to people, but that's just something
Yeah,
to
yeah,
know.
for
It's
sure.
like when you're flying, when you're in airports, especially because we were international, our reception was spotty. We couldn't find out the details we wanted, but we had someone reliable, trustworthy to get the details for us and relay it back to us in a very timely manner because she cares about us and she was a good friend and she still is a great friend. So it's those are the perks of having someone on your side and advocating for you, like you said.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah,
I
well, is
wanted to
it
touch a little bit,
Mhm.
if do we have time? I
Yeah, of
wanted to touch
course.
a little bit on my amazing entrepreneurial group, the Bold Ladies
Hmm.
of Flagler.
Yes.
Do I have time to touch
Yeah, of
talk
course.
about that
That's
for a
how
second?
that's how we met. I would love for you to spend a minute or two about that.
Yeah, yeah. So I am incredibly honored to be a bold lady of Flagler County. It is an entrepreneurial group of like-minded women. I'm going to tell you right now, these women are sincere. We have so much in common. We have a bond together. And what's wonderful is there's so many different people that represent different businesses. Everything from, from mortgages to hair and everything in between. And it's really great to be able to have this camaraderie and this bond with the other bold ladies. And frequently, especially if you're in Flagler County and you want to perhaps you're interested in a product or a service and you're not really sure what to do, our group is wonderful because we help each other and there's usually somebody in the group that can represent you. And it's wonderful to be able to support the local businesses. Again, it's Bold Ladies of Flagler County. And there are other chapters in Florida as well. And Anna is the founder of Bold Ladies, and she is absolutely incredible. She is a magnet. As soon as someone meets her, you just immediately fall in love with her.
Right.
So I'm very grateful for this amazing entrepreneurial club called Bold Ladies. So
Yeah, of course. Well, that's how we met for anyone who is
yeah,
listening and wasn't sure. It's a great way to build connections, and I have a few bold ladies coming up on the podcast, and I think any place where the positivity is really the main focus of the group just tends to grow and the right people tend to show up. Like Diana and Deanna, sorry, and Anna, sorry, I was like mixing up the names. And like Kim Sunshine as well, like just a lot of
yeah,
amazing
she's
ladies there.
amazing.
She's great. So I'll make sure I leave the link below for the Bold Ladies in Flagler if anyone's interested in learning a little bit more about that, because Deanna there she's putting together a cruise. So you have a few, I think, days to check that out or just look at all the amazing stuff that they'll post online. And what is the best way if someone wanted to learn more about, working with you, learning more about what you do? What is the best way they can either contact you or find more information?
Yeah, yeah. So I wanted to mention one quick thing. We actually have our Bold Ladies 4 night long weekend cruise, April 18th. And if there's anybody that would like to join it, if you're not a Bold Lady and you would just like to go, our rate is actually so low that right now it's more than double. So you can go from $470 per person, including tax. And right now, prices for the room much higher. So you can contact me. You don't have to be a Bold Lady, but of course, if you are, you can join our group. We will have private functions. We're going to have a pirate party and a number of other things. So you can contact me at Deanna, DEANNA, at agroupcruise.com. That's Deanna at agroupcruise.com.
Awesome. And I'll make sure I have that in the description so people can hopefully copy and paste it and check that out. Well, Deanna, thank you so much for coming on and sharing a few minutes from your lovely place in the Bahamas. I hope you're having an amazing time on that cruise, because like you said, this is before it's released to the public, so it's really extra special that you would take some time out from me for this podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you all to everyone
Until
listening.
later.
Bye.
Bon voyage.